This is the Franklin County Courthouse in Columbus, Ohio. I did feature this in my book, 101 Demolished Buildings in North America. Put the link to that in the description. They say this was built in 1885 to 1887 is the timeline we're given on this. It's interesting because we get a photo from July 4th, 1885, and Wikipedia gives us this is day one of the build duration, July 4th, 1885. This is supposedly the cornerstone laying ceremony. Make of it what you will. You get a lot of these. It's funny how we have a photo for these ceremonies and we have no other photos of the build process for so many of these early constructions. You can see how large the stones are here and how they're kind of strewn about. It's interesting. And somehow that mess of a building site turns into this spectacular structure. And this no longer stands. Like I mentioned, this was demolished in 1974. We'll go through that process. Beautiful mansard style roof here you can see with these circular dormer windows and all sorts of tech going on along the top. Even the chimney, you can see the brickwork and how well crafted this thing is. Wikipedia gives us these two names, an architect and a main contractor who's also an architect. We'll take a look at this architect, George H. Maetzel first. Maetzel. And we have talked about ghost architects on this channel before. I suspect we're looking at another one here. But they do give us a bit of a backstory. Of course, the headline is this courthouse that we're featuring in this video. We do have a few other structures attributed to this gentleman. The city prison, Columbus, castle-looking structure. A couple of breweries. We have a couple of courthouses from nearby counties as well. So for that small handful of buildings that this gentleman was involved with, they're all looking to be old world bangers. Moving on to the supposed builder, George Bellows, another George, both of them named George. We have a timeline for this gentleman's life. I'd also noticed that he was an architect and was involved in the designing of this one, the Chittenden, which I have featured in previous videos. The Ohio Institute for the Deaf and Blind, or Deaf and Dumb, sorry. Well, let's just take a closer look at that wonderful structure. We have the St. Francis Hospital, which is this magnificent structure featured in my second volume of Demolished Buildings in North America. He also has a hand in the county jail. So, a couple of Georges, and one more little bit about the architect, George Maetzel. Ends up dying May 25th, 1891 at the age of 53, a few hours after the beginning of a heavy cold. So make of that what you will. Seems a bit strange to me. Here we have the building, Franklin Courthouse, being dedicated on July 13th, 1887, the 100th anniversary of the passage of the Northwest Ordinance. Now if you're not sure what that is, and I wasn't sure, I had to look it up. Ordinance for the government of the territory of the United States northwest of the River Ohio. You can see the map here. So this chunk of land, basically after the American Revolutionary War, Great Britain cedes that region to the United States in 1783, we are told. And Wikipedia also tells us by 1937 the interior had been remodeled. So that's 50 years after this thing opened. Just to put in perspective as well, so we have the Zanesville Courthouse nearby. This one still stands, looking quite pristine. This one built in 1870, so this is a 153-year-old building, much older than the one we're highlighting in this video here. Yet, as we'll see, this thing will become quite dilapidated, and the storyline will go that. Well, I'll get back to the renovation in 1937. Much of the interior was remodeled. Skylights were covered, mezzanines reconstructed into wholly separate floors. What else do we have? Space was reported as a fire hazard at risk to loss of the entire building in the attic area. So by 1953, well, I do have one of the entire structure still intact as we've seen it. You can see the cars here. What do you think? 40s? Late 40s? You tell me. But we still have the roof intact here. And as we're getting to the 50s, we have the statue on top being removed. So, Statue of Justice, they'll call this, right here, is removed. And we have the clock tower being removed in 1954 as well. You might want to hide your eyes for this. This is what they did to this building here. So they took out the clock tower, which apparently was leaking, and they remodeled the two mansard roofs on the side to look like this. Here's another picture of what it became. You could probably understand after they turn it into something like this why the public has no trouble with it being knocked down. A far cry from this here. And you really have to question the process here of why are they doing this to these structures in this manner. 1974, it gets the wrecking ball and becomes, the land that it's on becomes a park. Dorian Commons Park, here it is here. Got this little sunken area with a central pyramidal structure. You have a piece of art sculpture in this park. Make of that what you will. Certainly not the eye-catching art that I find in the architecture here. But there you have it. And we have the cornerstone, apparently. Strange story with this. Apparently it was hauled off into a garage nearby, and then somebody found it later on, and then it was featured in this area. Supposedly the cornerstone that we saw being celebrated in this photo here. And of course, in modern day, the courthouse in Columbus looks like this. We actually have a triumvirate of buildings now for the purposes of the courthouse that the courthouse once served. So anyway, I just wanted to show you what I believe to be impossible architecture. I have trouble with believing the official narrative, the timeline on the build, the date that this place was supposedly erected, and in the manner that it was erected in. This is a supremely magnificent structure, and it's an absolute travesty that it was ever demolished. But it does remain in a very clear, high-quality photograph form, which I'm pleased to share with you in this video. So, thanks for watching.